Hello, my name is Eli Nobles, and I am currently 21. If I had gotten my way when I was younger, I never would have made it to my 18th birthday, let alone my 21st. Suicide is the third leading cause of death among people from the ages of 15 through 29, and negative mental health greatly affects a large proportion of the queer community. Today, I would like to shed light on suicide within the LGBTQ community and hope to inspire you to volunteer or help those who struggle with negative mental health. According to an article from Newport Academy by Jamison Monroe, LGBTQ youth are 3.5 times more likely to attempt suicide than their heterosexual peers. Today, I'll be speaking about why queer youth struggle in today's society with mental health and a wonderful nonprofit organization that aims to help and support queer journeys, and how you as an individual can possibly help as well. So why do queer teens struggle with negative mental health or suicidal thoughts? Being a teenager is already a difficult experience with a lot of physical and social changes, and coming to the realization of your queerness can make it that much harder. The process of realizing you're queer and accepting yourself is an immediate stressor and isolator, made worse if you live in a more conservative area or home. It will make you feel like you have no options by narrowing down your coping resources like friends or family, especially if you're not ready to come out. The reason those options narrow down is because it feels like no matter what the problem is, it always comes back to being gay or queer some way. So you feel you can't talk about any of your problems for fear of coming out accidentally. From my experience, it was hardest with my family, and I ended up isolating myself from them or projecting as not gay as possible, and never telling them anything personal, so I bottled everything in, and eventually my bottle exploded. But even coming out doesn't solve everything. In a lot of cases, it makes things much worse. According to an article written by Robert Lee Kitts, many young people who disclose their sexuality publicly experience rejection from peers and family and feelings of failure due to disappointment they get from others. In some cases, it can even create an unsafe home life and environment for the person who came out, whether that's with being kicked out at a young age, abuse from home, or being forced into conversion therapy by your parents. Conversion therapy refers to any of several dangerous or discredited practices aimed at changing a person's sexual orientation or gender identity to the heteronormative straight and cis orientations. As of 2018, about 700,000 adults have gone through some sort of conversion therapy, and over half of them have admitted to being forced into it at a minor age. Along with being in an uncomfortable situation at home, many young queer kids experience harassment, bullying, and even physical assault from other individuals because of their sexual orientation or gender identity. According to the StopBullying.gov website, the 2017 Youth Risk Behavior Survey shows that nationwide, out of the children who identify specifically with the queer community, 33% of them have been attacked or bullied on school property, and 10% of those students just stopped appearing at school for fear of their safety. Personally, when I was in high school and openly queer, I was followed by other students in between classes as they threw slurs at me. I was threatened daily. I had things thrown at me. I was told I was going to hell and they should do me a favor and send me early. And multiple of my friends and partners were also harassed. And school staff was no help either. Even though there were heterosexual couples making out in hallways and having intercourse on the band tower, I would be written up and screamed at for holding hands with my trans partner. And sadly, I'm not the only kid in the world who was treated that way, and even though my attempts had failed, others didn't. In 2010, an 18-year-old boy named Tyler Clementi took his own life by jumping off of the George Washington Bridge in New York after leaving a post on his Facebook saying he planned to take his own life. With further investigation, it was found that his roommate had left his camera on his laptop open to catch a video of Tyler having a sexual interaction with another male, and then his roommate spread these videos throughout the school campus. This led Tyler to being relentlessly bullied and attacked online and in person to the point that after 2 weeks of these videos being spread, he felt his only option was to jump. Sadly, there are many stories just like Tyler's where someone is assaulted, attacked, murdered, or pushed so far to the edge of a cliff that they feel their existence is not worth it because of their sexuality. And that's where the Trevor Project comes in. The Trevor Project is a nonprofit organization that focuses on suicide prevention for queer youth under 25. When you go to their website, you can find information about all of their different lines and numbers that you can find. It was founded in 1988 after a short film about a young gay boy named Trevor getting bullied for his sexuality, tries to kill himself, became popular. The creators of the short film realized the young viewers might be experiencing similar feelings as the young boy they made the film about, and noticed that there wasn't anywhere for queer youth like Trevor to turn to when struggling in these situations. And you can find all the history on their website. They gathered a bunch of mental health experts and funds and created the 24-hour crisis hotline called Trevor Lifeline. It was the first national crisis intervention and suicide prevention lifeline for the LGBTQ community, and now it's the most well-known and recognized. Hundreds of thousands of people have reached out to the organization's multiple life-saving sources, and according to their website, the mission of the Trevor Project is to end suicide among gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, queer, and questioning young people. Through the past 2 decades, they recently have also expanded to having a nationwide campaign to end conversion therapy called 50 Bills, 50 States. These conversion camps or practices are rooted in different religions, though this is not an example of those religious practices. And some of the conversion methods are electric shock therapy, hypnosis, cold showers, drugs, genital mutilation, praying, talk therapy, where they try to convince you and guilt you of your sins. And in some cases, there have even been cases of rape used. No matter the method, the thought of changing someone's orientation is very invasive and cruel. And the Trevor Project's campaign has helped to stop this practice in states across the country, like Illinois, California, Colorado, and many others. They also state that they're looking and researching for new methods and plans all the time in order to stop queer youth suicide and hopefully help their growth and impact within the next 3 years. The Trevor Project has many programs to help queer youth out, but also to help them find a place in the community and feel supported. They have multiple 24/7, 365 crisis lines where you can speak or get a hold of a trained Trevor counselor, including the original Trevor Lifeline, Trevor Chat, and Trevor Text. They also have many community resources like Trevor Space, an international queer social network for people the ages of 13 and 24, and allies are also able to use the social network as well. There's also Trevor Advocacy Network, a way for Trevor supporters to take action to improve policies and legislation. Trevor Next Gen groups of young, motivated volunteers in New York and Los Angeles who raise awareness, develop leadership, advocate, and fundraise in support of the Trevor Project. And there's also the Trevor Ambassadors, which are volunteer groups in select cities. Those are just a few of the organizations and groups that they have underneath their umbrella. And you can find all information on it on their website under their About page and Resources page. They also offer training and education sources for people outside the queer community and tons of information on the signs of depression and suicidal awareness and trying to prevent those as a total. So now that you know some of these Trevor Project's amazing resources, what can you do and how can you use them? Right off the bat, you can sign up for email updates when you join the site. Follow them online and explore any upcoming events because staying informed is always most important in any situation. You need to know what's going on in the world in order to prevent or change it. Once you're already informed, if you are available, the Trevor Project has many volunteer opportunities like signing up for the Lifeline's Trevor Chat or Trevor Text. Both require a 40-hour virtual training program that spans about 10 weeks. And those include role-playing scenarios, supervised shifts, and e-learning modules. They also require that you have a computer with high-speed internet and time for at least 1 3-hour shift a week. And you can send in an application right online. To volunteer for these specific programs, you would be texting and chatting online back and forth with queer individuals who reach out for help. Trevor Chat is just an online service or chat room through the site, while Trevor Text is just text messaging back and forth, but both services do require the same things. There are also things called volunteer perks, like access to a variety of events and resources, a monthly newsletter, or different updates going on with the organization, and a nationwide Facebook group filled with other volunteers across the world that you are able to talk with. The organization does also accept volunteers for their Trevor Lifeline service, which is the phone line, but that usually requires you to be able to volunteer for their call centers in LA or New York, and you also are required to have a 4-hour shift once a week. The Trevor Project does accept donations through their site and through different fundraisers they host, and any donations made are used to further progress of their research and studies, keep their crisis lines and other groups open, and is also tax deductible. They also do offer jobs like marketing assistants, recruiters, and a few others, which can all be found on their site through the bar at the top. If you're interested in keeping up to date with different options they have, email newsletters, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and they are all very easy to find under the name The Trevor Project. Other than that, my biggest advice to you is to stay educated and up to date on anything and everything, from different signs of these mental health issues, on how to be a better ally, the laws going into effect that could possibly affect the queer kids in America. And if you have anyone at home who struggles with these things, please check in on them and tell them that they are loved. Please check out thetrevorproject.org and see if there's anything else that you can learn more in depth, because they have so much information and research available just at a few clicks on a keyboard. I know these things are not always easy to talk about, but I thank you for listening to me talk about the risks and struggles queer youth still face today, and I hope you found something in it to inspire you, and I hope I can get at least one of you to look further into the Trevor Project organization. I never thought that I would be alive to see myself take a college course, let alone want to be alive. And even though it is still something I struggle with a lot, thanks to organizations like the Trevor Project, I know I have somewhere to go and somewhere to find a community. If you ever feel like this, the Trevor Project Lifeline number is 1-866-488-7386, and the National Suicide Prevention Hotline is 1-800-273-8255. Do not be afraid to reach out. Thank you for your time.